Okay, let's see. Are we really live? Looks like we're live. Okay, let's see. Are we really live? Okay, I hope you guys are doing well today. Looks like I'm sharing my own screen here. I hope you guys are doing well. What I want to do is today I want to share with you guys some information on environmental chemicals. And I'm going to do this in a different format than we typically do it. Okay, so one of the things we want to do here is I'm going to share with you guys my screen. Okay, so give me just a second and I'll get everything set up and going for us. All right, so what I want to share with you guys is a little presentation that I put together, okay? So this should be very, very helpful. Guys, let me know if you have any problems seeing me. Like I can't, it was kind of weird how it started, but I think we're good. I think I'm live and everything is good here. So I'm going to try something a little bit different, guys. Hopefully, let me know if you have problems reading what I'm showing you on the screen, okay? I'm going to try a few things. Last time we did a screen share like this, a live video screen share, and by the way, guys, you can comment. The last time we did this, there were some problems with the resolution. So I just want to make sure that you guys can see everything, okay? It's a little new to me. So I'm going to optimize whatever that means. Okay, so what I want to talk to you guys about are today anyway, in this live stream, is basically how chemicals in the environment can contribute to multiple sclerosis and autoimmunity. And this is something that's a huge, huge issue. There's some things that I'm going to talk to you guys about that I know I haven't discussed before in this live stream, and I want to make sure that I do the best job possible to inform you of these potential problems and some of the consequences that we're seeing in the research from being exposed to a lot of these different chemicals, what they can do. I'm going to show you some test results, and I'm going to give you some ideas on what you can do to help yourself, okay? So could chemicals on store receipts contribute to multiple sclerosis and autoimmunity? And I'm going to tell you guys that you're probably going to be shocked by this information. Okay, a lot of it is going to be very surprising to a lot of you, and rightfully so. It's chemicals, environmental chemicals. I've been talking about them now for a few months, and they are a huge problem. I think that they're contributing to a lot of disease processes that we're not even seeing, and especially contributing to autoimmunity and hormone disruption. There's a lot of evidence that I'm going to share with you here. So figure out where to put this stuff here. Okay, this is probably better. So research links BPA, which we've talked about in the past, to multiple sclerosis. So bisphenol A to multiple sclerosis. And this is the research down here. This was published in the Journal of Applied Toxicology in 2017. So when you guys ask me questions like, why don't my doctors know this? Why don't my doctors, aren't they helping me? Why am I having these problems with communicating with and getting help from my physicians that I go to, my primary care, my endocrinologist? And this is exactly why. This is one of the reasons. The research is very, very new. If you're not trying to stay abreast of this and learn this, you're not going to see this, and you're not going to be aware of it. You're not going to be aware that it's even a potential problem. And as a matter of fact, when a patient brings something into you, information like this into you, you're going to probably say that they should stop searching the internet and listening to people on the internet. And they're trying to protect you, but the fact is that most physicians in practice are outdated by minimum of 15 years, and that's if they're recent graduates. A lot of them, though, are outdated on the science that they're being exposed to, because think about this for a second. For research like this to get put into a textbook, how long does that take? I mean, the research has to be published, probably multiple studies, and that has to be incorporated into a textbook. That has to be taught to students. So it has to be adopted by a school. That particular textbook that had to be written has to be adopted by the school, put into their curriculum, taught to the students. Students have to go through their 8 years or however long of education, then they have to graduate. So you're looking at a minimum of 15 years, So if the doctors aren't studying this, then they're not going to get it. And quite frankly, they're not studying this either because it doesn't change their approach to your problems. Not that they're bad people, it just doesn't change their approach. So those doctors are not well suited to help you from a functional medicine perspective. You've got to understand that. That's one thing that's really important. I see a lot of frustration from that, and something that I want to try to help you guys with. So research links BPA to multiple sclerosis. So here's the deal. 2 ways that BPA impacts the brain and nerves. Now, if you guys don't know, multiple sclerosis is an attack of your immune system, or by your immune system, on the covering of your nerves, which is called myelin. And BPA can impact and contribute to increased autoimmune reactivity because it can bind to the human tissues. So it can actually bind to the tissue. So you get BPA, which is bisphenol A. It's a chemical we're going to talk about where you find it, and it binds to the tissues of the body. Now, what happens is it can cause an immune response. And what that does is that can trigger autoimmunity to myelin, which is the covering of the nerves, which is how people that have multiple sclerosis, that's exactly what happens. And they have autoimmunity against the nerves. Now, the covering of the nerves in the brain and throughout the body is myelin. And if obviously if your immune system is attacking that, that's not a good thing, right? That's neurological autoimmunity. Now, autoimmune degeneration is actually connected to a lot of different problems. And so we see it with autism spectrum disorders, multiple sclerosis, neuropathies. So how many people do you know that have neuropathies, numbness, tingling in their hands, feet, and other issues like that? Also neurodegenerative disorders like Parkinson's disease. You guys know I've been talking a lot in the last few months about how this neurodegenerative problem that we're seeing with Parkinson's, dementia, Alzheimer's is a huge, huge issue. And this is something that we're seeing evidence that BPA is connected, and it's contributing to a lot of these potential problems here. It's really, there's research that's going on that I think is critically important, because as you guys know, I've talked about this, I feel like I talk about it all the time, but it's really that important that the environmental chemicals that we're being exposed to, most of these, the large majority, there are 85,000 environmental chemicals that are commonly used in agriculture and industry. And of those, only about 1,500 have been studied, and not even that extensively. But they're used. So we're all getting exposed to them, but what are they doing? Well, this is the kind of stuff we're finding out. I mean, why do we have explosions in disease processes on all these different types of major killers, cardiovascular disease, heart disease, diabetes, autoimmunity, cancers, brain degenerative conditions? Why is all this exploding? Well, we have all this technology. We should be healthier than ever. But the fact is that we're polluting our environment, and we're polluting our bodies, and we're contributing to a lot of disease processes. That's my opinion. And so here's the deal. This is really important for you guys to understand too, is that immune-based testing is definitely the best approach, guys. It is the best approach, because what you see here is, this is something I wanted to point out to you guys. When you have environmental chemical exposure, it's not the quantity of the chemical that poses problems of its own, the quantity and the amount of the chemical. But really, when we're looking at autoimmunity, it relates to more to the immune system's reactivity to the chemical, which is not quantity dependent. Meaning you can have very small amounts of some of these chemicals and still have an immune response to them, which is not good, because that drives autoimmunity. We know that anything that really drives an immune response seems to contribute to and promote and make autoimmunity worse. So things like this. So take a look at this. These are test results that I think are very important to be aware of. These are immune-based test results. And what you'll see here is that these are a number of chemicals here that were tested for immune reactivity. BPA binding proteins, BPA binding protein IgM, IgA, IgG. These are different types of responses, immune system, and bisphenol A. There it is. Now look at this. This person has very, very high reactivity to BPA binding protein, and they have moderate or borderline reactivity to bisphenol A. This is what we're talking about, guys. And look at all of these other environmental chemicals that they're reacting to. This is benzene ring compounds. I can't tell you, that's used in all kinds of things. Isocyanates, tetrabromobisphenol A, tetrachloroethylene, mixed heavy metals. They're having this person needs to absolutely remove everything from their environment that we can possibly identify containing these compounds. Then they need to go on a very strict diet that removes exposures, and they need to actively be working on detoxifying this. At the same time, they need to identify any type of other immune driving things like foods, food sensitivities, environmental chemical reactivity here that we're looking at, but foods that they could be reacting to. The other things are infectious agents, pathogens, bacteria, viruses, parasites, different types of other types of infections that are really, really important to consider. This, though, shows you that the immune-based component and how your immune system can react to these chemicals is not being checked by anyone. I mean, very, very few people are looking at this. They're measuring, if they're considering whether or not chemicals are a problem for someone, what are they doing? They're ordering tests to look at urine, hair, stool, and things like that, where they can try to get an idea of toxic burden. But there are all kinds of problems with those tests, because if you're not a very good detoxifier, or if these chemicals have absorbed into your fat tissue or embedded into your other tissues, or absorbed into your neurological tissues, as in the case with mercury, then you're not going to see it in a detoxification process, because it's embedded in the tissue, so it's not available to be detoxified. So, this is really critical, and it's important that you understand that the immune system can react to these chemicals, but the chemicals that in high quantities, they can create their own problems and disrupting hormonal systems and contributing to cancers and things like that. So this is a really, really important test that I recommend that everyone I work with one-on-one consider getting this test done. It's that important. So the critical point to keep in mind here is it's not the amount of BPA. It's the immune sensitivity to it. So is your immune system reacting? So you can have very small amounts. This is a very important point. Very small amounts and have reactivity to BPA. It's not quantity dependent. It's really, really important. So quantity does not equal immune reactivity. You can react to BPA the way that you react to gluten, dairy, soy, eggs, or any other dietary protein, guys. Now, BPA is not a dietary protein. It's an environmental chemical, but your immune system can react to it very similar to dietary proteins. And so what it means is that low levels of BPA can still create an immune response. It's not these urinary tests and I'm not saying that's not a reasonable test to consider having done to look at quantities, but when you're really looking at immune reactivity and autoimmunity, you need to be looking at these environmental chemicals and to see if you're having an immune response to them, not just to see if they're present, because their presence and their quantity in your body is one problem, but the immune reactivity is another problem, okay? So high levels of BPA don't mean that you're gonna have an immune response either. So you could have very high levels and still not have an immune response to the environmental chemical. So, they do pose their own problems though when they're in higher amounts, which is what we're going to talk about. Now, BPA is in plastics and other products. It's everywhere throughout the environment. Thermal receipts that are used by stores, restaurants, gas stations, airlines, ATM machines. And what I do is I just say, people want to print a receipt for me. Some people will ask, hey, do you want a receipt? I always say, no. Do you want to, and if they print it out, I'm saying, no, thank you. I don't need that. And I don't take the receipt. I don't take it. If you're going to print it, that's fine, but you can throw it in the trash, because I'm not taking the receipt. I'm not carrying it around. And what it shows us, the research shows us that it only takes 5 seconds to absorb BPA from these different sources and from receipts. And especially if you're using lotions, hand sanitizers, putting products on your skin, or you're eating food that has grease and you get grease on your hands. Like, let's say you go to a fast food restaurant, they give you a receipt, and then you go sit down and you're eating your fries and you're touching that receipt. That oil is a very great way to transfer that BPA into your body very, very efficiently and very, very quickly. And if you're using hand sanitizer and touching the receipt, or if you've put lotion on, all those things help to improve the transfer and absorption of those chemicals into your body. So keep that in mind. Say no thank you with the receipt. Plastic and food beverage containers are loaded with BPA. Toys, tin can linings, many places still have BPA linings in their cans, guys. Many companies still use that. And then also in medical products, you'll find it. So what else does BPA do? Well, it causes a lot of problems with hormone health, a tremendous number of problems with hormone health. It has estrogen-like properties, and in animal studies has been shown to cause a lot of problems. Now check this out. So one of the one of the papers that I downloaded and I looked at when I was putting this together for you guys. BPA, do you know where it was first identified? BPA was first developed by a biochemist, and it was tested as what? What was BPA first tested as? When it was first looked at as being used somehow inside industry or medicine, it was tested as an artificial estrogen supplement. Guys, it mimics estrogen. That's not good at all. So it's basically a hormonal disrupting chemical, and it's been demonstrated to change the signaling mechanisms that involve estrogen and other hormones. Does that sound like something you want in your body? Does that sound like something you need in your body? Absolutely not, right? But what it's been done is it has estrogen-like properties, and in animal studies, it's been shown to cause reproductive defects, cancer, immune-based problems, chromosomal errors, and that's in a developing fetus, miscarriage, genetic damage. They're major issues. So I know this is going to come up because some of you guys are so smart, and I realize that, I'm a little bit behind sometimes, right? So people are going to say, well, duh, I use BPA-free stuff anyway. You're not telling me anything new. How about sharing something new? I already know what's coming. So I know you guys are so smart. So I was just thinking about this, and you use BPA-free stuff. And here's the reality of that. Many BPA alternatives still have synthetic estrogens and pose health risks. That's right. The BPA-free stuff, you know what it is? It's not BPA, it's BPA-S. So it's a different form of bisphenol. It's bisphenol S, or it's probably BPS, I guess. It's a different form of the plastic. But guess what? The research is showing us what? That those plastics are probably as bad as BPA or worse than BPA. So here's the moral of the story. Plastic is plastic. Get it out of your life. Get it out of your food, especially your food storage, or anything that you're drinking out of, you're eating out of. Never heat food in plastics. Don't do it. Don't put saran wrap over the top of something and put it in a microwave or heat it. You don't do any of that. Get the plastic as far away from you and out of your life as you possibly can. So what can you do? You eat healthy, a healthy diet, mostly whole foods. Okay, you choose organic when possible. You can go and you can Google the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. The Clean 15, Dirty Dozen and Clean 15 is actually a food list that's put out by the Environmental Working Group, ewg.org. Go there and you can download that. It's a great list to help you budget with when you're trying to buy clean foods and organic foods. Use the Think Dirty or the EWG phone applications, the cell phone applications, and scan all of your health and beauty aids, your makeup, your lotion, your deodorant, your shampoo, everything you clean with, all of your detergents you use on your clothes, every single thing, your dishwash, use all of it. The hand soap, everything. Use these apps, download them on your smartphone, you open up the application, and your camera becomes a barcode scanner. And what you do is it lets you can just hold it over the barcode, and it will scan it in, and it will give you an immediate report and tell you whether or not what you're using is toxic. Okay? You want the scores typically 0 to 10. You want everything to be below 3. If it's above 3, get rid of it. Let me tell you what your top offender is going to be. It's going to be perfumes and colognes. Get rid of them. The fragrances are the worst things. Okay, I'm just going to tell you. Endocrine disrupting chemicals, carcinogenic chemicals. Chemicals are in your cosmetics and things that bioaccumulate. They build up in your tissues. They are excitatory neurotoxins. They excite nerve cells, and they'll destroy them. So you can also consider getting customized and specific guidance. So you can do those things to try to help yourself. But if you want to save time, you want the best chance to improve your health quickly, you want less trial and error, and you'd like a plan developed specifically for you based on testing, then you may be a candidate for like distance consulting with me. You can find other people. If you find someone that you feel comfortable with, there are other people out there that can help you. But there are a lot of people don't realize that we offer distance consulting. I work with people around the world, but we only take two to 4 max people per month that we work with one-on-one. And so if you're interested in distance consulting, we can help you get testing and everything that you need to do. You can go to drbradshuk.com and you can click on Application for Care tab. You can go there and you can read all about it. But we work with people in other countries. We work with people across the US, and we can help you get testing. We can do phone or video conferencing. So we can conduct a lot of our appointment and whatnot the same way that we would do it if we were, working in an office environment. So technology has made the world a lot smaller and really giving you guys a lot more options. So you can consider that. Now, if you're interested in trying to help yourself first, you might want to consider going through our webinar and looking at our detox program, because we have a detoxification program that's very good, and I want to share a little bit of that with you guys. So you can go to No More Toxic Body and you can register for that. Now, one of the things I want to share with you guys is let's take a look here at, hey guys, hope you're doing well. You can take a look at, I'm going to see what I can share with you. I've got to choose the pages that I'm going to share with you guys. It makes us do this. So I want to show you guys I like our Facebook group, for example. Not sure if you guys can see this, but let's look and see what we can share. All right, so I'm going to share with you guys. Share the screen. I'm going to share with you guys our detoxification program, our group program. So you can see here, we have a detoxification support group, and this group is really designed to support the people that are going through our detoxification program. But you'll see that what we do is I'm constantly trying to put information here on environmental chemicals and things that you can do. People are able to submit questions and ask us. I do question and answer. Like this, we did a question and answer. I did one actually today, and you can see I posted lots of video replies. But we go in here and we're trying to be we're a support group to try to help each other so that we can really get as healthy as possible as a group, and it builds in our support network for you, which is really, really important. Some of the other things to look at here are, like, we have resources. So if this is sharing with you guys, I'll show you. It may not. Looks like it is. So I think it's sharing with you guys here. So this is kind of like our question and answer, like our database, our repository. So people are talking. We're talking about what types of how do you filter water? How do you check your, like I'd mentioned, the Think Dirty app here, which you guys can go to. We have all these resources. Where do you go to get your amalgam fillings taken out if you're concerned about mercury? What about toothpaste? What about looking at pollution in your area? So you can click on these different guides, and it will literally take you to where you can search your zip code for polluters in your area. So it's really interesting. Like, I'm looking at our area right now. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm not sure if it dynamically updates. Yeah, you can see, you can follow me. So you'll see here that you can actually see the toxic chemicals released in your zip code. So we're putting all these resources as well as walking people through how to detoxify their body with diet and supplementation. So there's a lot of different things that you can do to help yourself. But the main thing that I want to share with you guys today was, BPA, these connections to multiple sclerosis, other autoimmune conditions, and really just give you guys a better idea of some of the things that you might want to consider doing for yourself, and make sure that you're aware of a lot of the different resources that are out there so that you can start helping yourself today, right? You can start doing some things for yourself right now. So this will help you to protect yourself and your family. Guys, I hope this has been helpful. I decided to do the video this way today and just see how it works, because I can share some resources with you on the computer rather than just doing a whiteboard video. But if there's anyone on here, maybe we can do some question and answer. Let's see if we can do some Q&A. So let me just take a look, guys. Okay, so are there any questions or comments or anything anyone has? If you would just post them in the comments box, and I'll try to answer them. Let's see. I'm having a little bit of trouble actually finding the chat box using this software right now. So as I get more familiar with it, we should be able to work out some of the kinks here so that I can interact with you guys a little bit more efficiently. But right now, I can't even figure out how to interact with you guys, so it's pretty bad. But I hope this helps you guys out. What I'll try to do is maybe a question and answer session a little bit later, and we'll be able to better answer any questions you guys might have about this or other topics. So appreciate you guys a lot. I think I'm going to end it here because I can't really figure out how to share my screen appropriately. So appreciate you guys a lot, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Hope this helps you out today.